For this district, David Young. A person that I have no doubt on January the 3rd, 2015 will be ready to start the work, because I know how loyal he was to the people of Iowa, being the chief of staff for my office, and seeing that it was run very smoothly. You know that you'll have a congressman that will be running a congressional office very smoothly. It's kind of a privilege to be at the museum here. I had a chance to know Bob Feller a little bit because he was such a good friend of another World War II veteran, Bob Dole. So he would come around the hill maybe once a year or so, maybe not that often, but I had an opportunity to have several discussions with Bob Feller. And you know, you always had the feeling he never forgot where his roots were, right here in deeply felt here in central Iowa. And I think in terms of the heater from Van Meter, you know, David Young is kind of a political heater from Van Meter. You know that it took a long time to get the nomination to represent the Republican Party in here. But just to show you how hard that work was and how hard he did it to get there, ought to show you, and as you go to be a missionary for him and telling other people about him and why he ought to be the congressman, because that's your job. But it ought to tell you that you don't have to have any apologies about how hard this next congressman's going to work for your district by when you do that, telling others, because he showed it through a year's campaign for the nomination and going an extra mile to get that. You know, Bob Feller was known for the fastball that he had. Iowans are going to see a person that's got a changeup as we try to turn things around in Washington. And he may even have a slow ball because he's the sort of a person that doesn't try to make miracles happen except at convention time. Other than that, he's just going to accomplish his work as your congressman, not by miracles, but by hard work. And I've seen that hard work. So I hope that you will do what I'm going to do, even though I'm not in his district. I'm going to be doing all I can in the next 90-some days to help my friend and my former chief of staff and a person that's very loyal to me, even though he's not on my staff now, to be the next congressman. So would you please welcome the next congressman for this district, David Young.
Thank you, Senator Grassley. You may not be able to vote in my district, but you can send me a donation. I'm very humbled to be here. They say sometimes it's some of the toughest crowds are your family and friends, and I'm just so gracious and grateful for you all to be here. I'm very humbled. You know, people ask me why am I running? With all the dysfunction that you see out in Washington, D.C., why do this? And it's because of you. It's because I love my community, I love my state, I love my country, I love the great land, the people, the opportunity that is here for us all. And, you know, those opportunities are there, but we have to really fight for them. We really do have some challenges. You know, I don't know when your relatives or ancestors came out here to Iowa, but mine came out in 1881, being a sixth-generation Iowan. They came out from Germany to western Iowa, and they worked on the railroad, they worked on the farm, and they moved down here to Van Meter. My mother's parents, Grandpa and Grandma Johnson, were tenant farmers. He built homes. He built a church. My father's parents, Grandpa and Grandma Young, had Young's Cafe here in town. My grandfather worked at Firestone. And you know, tough is tough sometimes, but Iowans know how to just roll up their sleeves and get the job done. And we do it every day. You know, my parents met in junior high and they got married. And they didn't get married in junior high. Of course, I always want to make sure you all know that. And my brother and my sister and myself, we just had a great small town life here in Van Meter. Played in the Raccoon River. Got in detention at school a few times. Delivered the newspaper. Was in Cub Scouts, 4-H. Went to church here. Went to Drake University and got a job and saw my paycheck and wondered who FICA was getting some of my money, and I wanted to kind of watch what was going on here with my tax dollars and your tax dollars. And I went out to Washington, D.C., and I knocked on Senator Grassley's door, and there was no room at the time for me there. But like any Iowan, they're persistent, and they're dogged in their pursuit of trying to do what they set out to do. And it just so happened that 8 years ago, the door opened for me to go work for Iowa. And I was proud to work side by side with Senator Grassley, working for Iowans in the U.S. Senate. And make no doubt about it, I've seen the dysfunction up close, and I know what can be done and how to get it done, because I've had a great mentor. And one of the things in Senator Grassley's office, he teaches you how to listen. And so I'm talking on the microphone right now, but most of the time, my mouth is closed, but my ears are open, because I'm listening to Iowans, because I want to know what your solutions are when you see these problems, how you would fix things. What are your anxieties, your dreams, your goals? I want to hear from you, because I could be no better advocate for Iowa unless I know what Iowans are thinking. And I'll never forget who my boss is. Should I be honored to be elected? It's the people of the 3rd District here in Iowa. It's not party leadership, a president. It's you. You have the ability to hire me. You have the ability to fire me. So I will listen to you. And I also learned from Senator Grassley, as a person of faith, like many of you are here today, you don't have to sell your soul to get things done. You can stand on your principles. And you don't have to compromise. You can cooperate and work to get things done, but you don't have to sell your soul out to get things done. Now, that American dream is still there, of course, but there are challenges. And in the primary, I talked about some challenges we have: the budget deficit, jobs deficit, and trust deficit. My message isn't changing. Iowans are concerned about these things. All Iowans are. And should I be elected to Congress, I will remember that I represent everybody in this district. I'm a Republican, but this district is full of Republicans, Democrats, independents, people who are not affiliated with the party, and I will listen to them all. You know, we have almost $18 trillion in debt. Iowans hate debt. I hate debt. You look what's happening with our state. We have good fiscal discipline there. Your family pocketbook, your business. You go into debt, you know what happens. The bank comes, creditors come, they take away the car, the house maybe. We cannot let this happen to our next generation, and I will be a taxpayer watchdog for Iowans looking to curb this and turn it around for us. We have a jobs deficit here in America. In Iowa, you know we're doing pretty darn good, just over 4%. And you know, you can have politicians and policies out there trying to make things right when it comes to our economy. But if you want to know why we're doing so well in Iowa, get up every morning and just look in the mirror. You know, in Iowa, we are just wired to get it done and work and make it happen. And so I take my hat off to you as to why we're doing so well here in the state of Iowa. Now, that's quite a contrast to what's happening in Washington, D.C. and nationally. We're probably, you triple what we have here in our unemployment rate, that would be our underemployment rate, where some people, our neighbors, our friends, our family members, they have just given up sometimes and just walked away from even looking. So we need to turn things around. We need government policies that encourage growth and development and entrepreneurs and people investing in this economy. Because we can do it if sometimes the government would just get out of the way. And lastly, Senator Grassley, I saw him operate every day with integrity. And it can be done. You look at Washington's approval rating, about less than 10% is what the approval rating is in Washington, D.C. for members of Congress. You wonder who those 10% are who think they're doing a good job out there. I'd like to meet them. But there are good people out there, and I know that you will hold me accountable, and I want to hold this government accountable. You know, this government is big, and it consumes. It doesn't create necessarily, but it consumes wealth and sometimes our rights. And you see what's happened with the IRS, the EPA, things that have happened with the Veterans Affairs Administration, when some of our men and women who put their lives on the line were disregarded in a sense. And we have the Bob Feller Museum right here, but I tell you what, the gem of this community is the Iowa Veteran Cemetery up on that hill. It's hallowed ground. And I hope when you leave here tonight that you'll take a quick tour, just drive around that cemetery and look at the flag and look at those headstones and just remember those people who put their life on the line for us every day. I want to hold this government accountable. You know, sunlight, we're feeling it right now, is the best disinfectant. I've heard Senator Grassley say that. And I will do my best with constituent service, making sure I'm listening to you every day and paying attention to your needs when it comes to battling the federal bureaucracy on your behalf. I will vote, but there's something else you can do when the federal government's log jammed and the floor of the House or the Senate's log jammed. There's oversight. You have the power and the ability, the Founding Fathers gave members of Congress the power to keep an eye on this government. And I will watch this government because this government's watching us and people need to watch it. And every member of Congress should do this. I'll keep an eye on your taxpayer dollars, and I know that you will too. And if you see something going wrong with our government, you'll let me know. And I'll make sure that the whistleblowers are protected. So this American dream is still there. I'm an optimistic person, and for the most part, I think Iowans are. I'm a happy warrior, and we can do this. We've had some many difficult challenges in America, the founding, breaking away from the crown of England, to establish our Constitution and these liberties that we prize, and these rights that we must maintain. So we can do this. If we get enough people there doing the right thing, banding together, we can keep this great experiment going on for generations to come, for our kids and grandkids. So I'm just so honored to see all these familiar faces and new faces, and I just want to thank you so much. Before I sign off here, I want to thank a few people who are here. Mayor, of course, Mayor Adams, Jeff Lamberti, thank you. Senator Grassley, thank you so much for coming here. Our state auditor, Mary Mosman, is here in the back over here. State Representative Marianne Hanusa is here, as well as Ralph Watts, our state rep. Sheriff Leonard, thank you for coming. Supervisor Mark Hansen, thank you so much for coming by. And the crew that really put this all together, I want to thank you so much for making this happen. And that's Paul Shazinski, Gary Sacker, Tim Cox, Dan Cornelison, Jarrett Goldwitzer, who I went to Buena Vista College with. There you go, go Beavers. Lynn Lyon and Steve Meyer. And, you know, I can't be remiss in thanking my mom and dad for being here, my nieces and nephews and brother-in-law, and one of my great friends, my sister, Lisa Ashley, who sang the national anthem. I want to thank her for being here as well. And so there's plenty of food, plenty of sunshine, get to know each other. I'm asking for your support. Take a yard sign on the way out. I need you on the first Tuesday in November, and I hope you'll tell your friends about me, about us, about what we're trying to do. And I have a website, Young.Iowa.com. Get involved. Let's do this. Thank you so much.
Boy. of mine. Met you at my neighbor's Fred and Mark Taylor.
Oh yeah, okay.
All right, and remember, folks, we got a lot of loin to eat over here, so grab yourself a pork loin sandwich. I'm sure if you want to take a little some pork loin home with you, we do have it available. We have water, we have ice cream. Take some ice cream home with you, take some water, take some pork loin.
The first time when John Bud died a year or two ago. That's special. Well, you know, we got the majority in the house.